Comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
The role of a woman in the society is to submit. Birth control are the pills of the devil. Education is so fundamental to the development of a people. I'm murderous. Simple as that. What am I voting for? Voting will change nothing.
Tout le monde haïtien, como yé. God save the Queen.
Broadcasting live from ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. Welcome to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm a Justice of the Peace here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And of course, I'm a member of the local Catholic Christian community. Well, there is a new supplement in the Tribune, and it talks about prostate months. And so today, I am going to be talking about my prostate. My prostate, your prostate. I am not a medical doctor, so I'm not giving anybody any medical advice or opinion. But I shall express my views on prostate cancer in the Bahamas. I'm not a doctor. This is Prostate Cancer Month. Do you have a prostate? I have a prostate, and I have named my prostate. Have you named your prostate? I'm going to look at the anecdotal evidence of prostate cancer in my family. Not talking about your family. And I'm going to tell you how and why I believe that a lot of the prostate cancer in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is caused by sweethearting. That is not a medical opinion. That is not a scientific opinion. It is an opinion of me who have looked for anecdotal evidence. Are you keeping sweetheart? There's always exception to the rule. There are many citizens who have prostate cancer and they've never kept sweetheart. But I can tell you that in Mama's family, all of the men who has prostate problem, they were keeping sweetheart. Are you keeping sweetheart? Are you keeping sweetheart? Because the anecdotal evidence will show that for many men, sweethearting is a major contributing factor to prostate problems in the Bahamas. Do you know your sweetheart? Will you take your prostate home tonight? And will you stop? I'm going to laugh at it. All men, I am advised, scientifically have a prostate. Okay? And so, we look at it. This is Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker. I call on the Bahamian men to stop keeping sweetheart and help to reduce the level of prostate cancer in their family. I'll be right back after the break. And of course, I await my spiritual advisor. He's not here yet, but you just relax. We're going to talk about prostate. I first learned about prostate in 1966. I'll tell you about it. It is Prostate Cancer Month. You better stop keeping sweetheart and go home to your wife. I'll be right back after the break.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker. We'll be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. I await my spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll. Well, once again, I welcome members of the public who is now joining me here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and all around the globe. I'm receiving reports that some of the Island Lock shops, web shops, have turned on my voice. And the people them are complaining to me. Would you all please turn up these volumes so the people them could hear the message? Particularly when I speak about prostate at some point in the course of the show. Because the Tribune has this huge edition called Us Too, Prostate Cancer Awareness. And I find it interesting that they have this AIDS symbol next to it. Normally this AIDS symbol, this represents AIDS. I don't know what this means, all right? But I'm going to be talking about it because it has been brought to my attention that a distinguished, educated gentleman complained to a medical doctor about me. And I want to tell him, I'm not going to call his name today. Don't complain to no doctor about me because I never professed to be a member of the medical profession. I'm not no doctor. I don't give no medical advice to anyone. What I do is I offer my grassroots opinions on the various medical conditions that come to my attention. And I'm entitled to express my views. It's a democracy. If I believe that prostate cancer, that one of the contributing factor to prostate cancer is keeping sweetheart, no one will stop me from saying that. All you have to do is to say, well, you have prostate problems, but you don't keep sweetheart. It isn't applicable to everyone, you know. I've used my family as a test case. I only have 2 more relatives now to confirm how their prostate is coming on. But I'll talk about it. But I just want to tell that fella, how dare you complain to a doctor? Huh? Don't complain to no doctor about me. Let the doctor advise you on the medical issue. Every man who got a prostate, when they say to come and bring your prostate for examination, you should go. As simple as that. I have a doctor, you know. Doctor, what's my doctor name? The Minister of Health, Dr. Dwayne Sands. The first time I discussed prostate with him, and he started talking to me about prostate, I listened to him. Because you are supposed to listen to the scientist, the educated professional. And when he was finished, I said, now, doctor, let me tell you, I don't keep sweetheart. Dr. Dwayne Sands, let me tell you, as he talked about my prostate, I said, listen, I do not keep sweetheart. That doesn't mean that perhaps I could develop prostate, all right? But I had to tell Dwayne Sands that, because in my family, when I discover that the man them got a little prostate problem, I go behind the curtains to determine what's going on. And I've discovered that the men in my family who didn't keep sweetheart, it appears that their prostate remained nice and good. And them who had the sweetheart, they have all kind of problems with their prostate. And so I suspect that there is a hidden secret in the country, and that is that many of these prostate problems is due to sweethearting. I know, doctor. I ain't giving nobody no opinion. That's my views. And I'm entitled to my views at age 61. And I'm entitled to express it. And those who are scientific and better trained, they're free to express their views. But how dare that Negro man complain to the doctor about me? That I all over the place saying that prostate is caused from sweethearting. Huh? Well, he don't have to worry about nothing. Just don't keep no sweetheart. And his prostate should be nice and good. Anyway, we leave that for later on because I intend to upset one or two professionals who got my name all over the place. Huh? I no doctor. I don't treat nobody. I don't tell nobody what to take. All I do is try to stay far from sweethearting. Because sweethearting in this country is like sweet potato bread. Most of our people loves it. Anyway, let's look at some of the politics. I think I'm going to look today at Abaco. I'm particularly interested in Great Abaco because I'm a descendant of Great Abaco. My maternal grandfather, the late Gilbert Gifford Moncur, was born at Green Turtle Key. In the Tribune business section, the Conkey Joe member of Parliament, what's his name? James Albury, is complaining over the fact that the government Department of Inland Revenue is miscalculating the real property taxes, and they are charging over the rate. Well, I always knew that they did not know what they were doing. That may sound strange to hear me. A man who is less educated than all of them could be saying it. Well, I've tested them. The first mistake they made, shortly after the 2012 general election and between 2012 and I think 2014, they began to play a game where they move unlawfully to take over the duties of the treasurer of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas as is prescribed by law. You heard what I said? They move expeditiously to take over the authority of the treasurer of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas as is prescribed by law. Those Negroes who initiated it, one of them is now the governor of the Central Bank of the Bahamas. The other Negro man, when the F&M came to power, they moved expeditiously to boot him out of the public, out of the Ministry of Finance. The Negro man was then the financial secretary. I had war with them. Didn't see them personally, but I had to exchange a series of letters. I knew I had them because they never responded. And every time they send verbal message to me, I grab the law and I throw it at them. I'll give you a story of what I'm talking about. The law and the provision of the law has never been repealed. If you have a conveyance, where do you go to pay the stamp taxes? The Treasury. But some Negroes got up because they were concerned about money laundering. They were concerned over the fact that they were suspicious that various institutions, various departments of the Bahamas government were stealing the government money. Yesterday you heard me complain of this new policy that has been introduced in the court, where if you are suing now, they want your bank account number and you even ain't been the case yet. The case even ain't heard before the court. But they want your bank number. Can you imagine that? They want your bank number. Think I stupid. So we see in Abaco, and there's something I'm going to deliberately withhold. I'm going to deliberately withhold it. I am very unhappy that I have to withhold it. See, I want to withhold it because I think I changed my mind. I'm just going to withhold it. It would be unfair to give you a reason why, because it wouldn't be a very safe position that I'm advancing, and I don't want to be caught up in that. But what have they been doing? They have been stamping conveyances contrary to law. And do you believe the most distinguished members of the bar, do you know they were complying with that illegality? If you name, just think of one of the most prestigious law firm in the country, bar none, and all of them participated in that unlawful act by not going to the public treasury and by going someplace in the Carmichael Road to a place called Inland Revenue, where they were unlawfully stamping their documents. You hear me? And all I wrote those Negroes who were in charge, I said, man, this is against the law. And I refuse to go and stamp. I even got one document now. I got to case them out shortly that ought to have been stamped, must be about 2 or 3 years ago. And it was not stamped because I refused to participate in what I call gangsterism. All right? And that is what they did. So all these lawyers went to Inland Revenue, even though they saw the law, even though they knew that the Stamp Act had not been repealed. And these lawyers were the Negro lawyers and the Conkey Joe lawyers. I couldn't believe that that level of negligence could exist among members of the Bahamas Bar Association who knew that the government was acting unlawfully, and they cooperated. Well, I was no lawyer, and I cursed them stink until one day they came to their senses and they told me come to the treasurer, and the treasurer stamped my document. But there are thousands of conveyances on record in the Department of the Registrar General's office, and who stamp is on it? It say Inland Revenue. And I believe at some point the government is going to have to pass some legislation to make that lawful, because it should have read the Treasury Department stamping it. But it's a bunch of ignorant people running our country, and who seems not to recognize that if you want to change something, you should just pass law. You repeal one and you enact the other one. That's what they have to do. So, D'Angelo Cartwright, I salute you. And you begin to see what kind of work I have to do. Because when the educated people are acting contrary to the law, you have confusion in Abaco. And so this poor Conkey Joe representative, James Albury, he is confused and is trying to figure out what is going on. Now, slowly, they are revealing that Inland Revenue is as incompetent as those Negroes who set it up. Y'all just finding out? Goodness me. I knew it a long time. I had to curse them out until they followed the law. So that's why you have all this confusion in Abaco. That is why they are overpricing and overcharging. But there's a secret behind it. But I ain't gonna tell nobody. But there's a secret. There's a secret by which, if you are observing closely what they are doing, you, a member of the public, could move and enrich yourself because of the gangsterism of mismanaging and doing nonsense. I can keep quiet over it. Let me let some people figure it out, get rich, and then I'll come back and row and say, you see, that's what they're doing. A bunch of dumb people. A bunch of dumb people. But I'm suspicious of them, because when people are educated and are acting as if they are not, something suspicious is taking place. So, James Curry, our boy, I wish you was in Nassau. I'd sit you down and point out to you what is taking place. And the poor foreigners who own them property in Abaco, y'all will be ripped off forever. That's what's going on there. I always knew it. Always knew it. Because I sat down one night and I said, what the hell is this? Then I went to look for the law and I recognized that gangsterism is just gangsterism, 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 gangsterism. So, second home owners in Abaco and the Family Island, between the incompetency of the lawyers that you hired, the realtors, y'all have been ripped off. All right? Y'all have been ripped off. Write your congressman and tell your congressman that you're suspicious that the Negroes in the Bahamas have taken you for a ride. And that's what's happened. Okay? So it's a very simple case. Case solved. Next case. The case is solved. Next case. I learned case management from an Australian Jew, Justice Howard Nathan. He came here wrong in the 93, 94 when the F&M had the court in one mess. And he used to hold court and have like 10 and 12 cases one time. I just used to sit back as he managed the case. So I've learned his strategy and I've just managed that case. Y'all have been ripped off, Abaco, and the F&M with their incompetent self will not be able to solve your problem unless they announce that for 10 years they will collect no real property taxes. All right? That's what's going on. Because there's a catch. But I ain't going to tell you all what the catch is. Why should I tell you all what the catch is? Y'all vote for them. So y'all go figure it out. So there's a catch. A good catch. In which the foreign landowner will lose. But the Bahamian who study it can exploit it. Ha! All right? There's a catch. There is a catch. There is a catch. And the foreign homeowner, the second homeowner, the landowner, there is a way by which you can take advantage of him because of the mess these Negroes created. Okay? But that is what's going on. And I don't intend to tell anybody. I think I'm going to just keep it to myself and watch it. So, James Curry, your work is cut out. All right? Just a bunch of incompetent Negroes that you are working with. That's it. Abaco, y'all are being ripped off. Abaco, y'all are being ripped off. Second homeowners, they're ripping you off. I'll be right back after the break.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. Expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. Well, I'm certain everybody would have heard the news. In fact, yesterday afternoon, when we commenced our show, we told you about the double police shooting. We are now in a position to confirm, and the papers is reporting it, and you can find it on radio and TV, that 2 Negro males were shot yesterday. We, as a people, and those of us as parents, we're going to have a serious talk with our sons and our daughters. We're going to have to constantly talk to them and say to them, listen, you got to behave yourself. You have to be law abiding. You can't take the law into your hands. You see, the F&M is serious about law enforcement. We have 3 men at the head of law enforcement, and they have a shared common philosophy. This isn't Hubert Ingram. Remember, when Christie and the PLP came to power, the police began their reign by shooting a number of Negro suspects. And Mr. Ingram publicly came out against it. And B.J. Nottage, notwithstanding that he was tough on crime, B.J. was not a minister who believed that the police should use deadly force. I know. Okay? In 2018, we have a prime minister who's serious about enforcing the law. We have a minister of national security who will provide the political argument and defense for deadly shooting. We have a commissioner of police who is willing to use force to maintain law and order. So I'm going to say to you, young men, guns are unlawful. So you're going to have to make up your mind what you can do with your gun. You're either going to throw it in the ocean or somehow get it to the nearest police station. But it's against the law. Crime is against the law. People are tired of all the crimes. And if you don't behave yourself, you're going to end up getting killed, particularly if you pull a gun on the police. Because don't forget, the police are people. They have mothers, they have fathers. And I told you all a couple of weeks ago, I told you all how a Negro mother complained to me over how a gunman pull up to her police son and pull a gun on him. They tell me so much things, and I just forget it. All right? But I think I told you all that story, how the woman complained to me. And I believe the policeman had his female child in the car. Man pull up and threaten him. I told it to you all some time ago. So this issue of crime is serious. So we have to talk to our sons, and we have to ask them, even though they will tell you that they are of age. But if they're living in your house, they can't argue that they are of age. You will have to say to them, well, if you are of age and you're not listening to my counsel, will you please pack up your Johnny bundle and go? I was faced with one son who was liking a girl. I didn't like the girl, Pa. I didn't like the girl, Grandpa. And I told him, I said, listen, son, I think you should leave that girl alone because your pa don't like her pa and her grandpa. And so they row. And all I did is I grabbed the bundle and I run from Black Village to the corner of Ponciana Drive and I throw it, his bundle, about 10 feet in the air. And I told them, keep from Black Village. And then I discover they were hanging up in my yard. So guess what I did? I bought the yard and tell them, stay until he repent. Okay? So we have to talk to these young people. Because if you don't talk to them, they're going to get killed. Serious thing. 2 Negro male is now laying off on the cooling board in the city of Nassau. And their files, their names, and everything about them has been turned over to the coroner. And you know what kind of coroner system we got? See, I'm an expert at it, you know. I participated. First of all, the coroner is understaffed. First thing. The second thing is the coroner is underfunded. The third thing is enough coroners. The fourth thing is there are so many files that they even can't find some of the files. You follow? So now you better behave yourself, or you will suffer death. It's a simple thing. Behave yourself. I used to be young, you know. The only thing that was always on my mind, I always said to Brother Jacks, man, let's go march. Let's go criticize Pinland and the PLP. Let's demonstrate. We never talk about robbing anybody. Never thought about that. Never thought about robbing. We always thought about where we're going to find some money to buy placards, or which high school we're going to close down this year. I don't understand what's going on. Okay? I want you young people to stop it. All right? And go find Dion Folks, the Minister of Labor. He said there can be plenty jobs. And you all go get some jobs and work and get married. Find a wife, go home, and ravish her. All right? Talking about ravishing, I see Candia Dames is back at it again in the Nassau Guardian. And Candia, I wanted to stop it before I am forced to curse her out. I wanted to stop it. Candia is not a married woman. Candia ain't married. Candia's never been married. On Saturday, I saw a Negro male who I know. Remember I told you I've been off in the clouds? Well, guess what happened on Saturday? As I was driving taxi and standing on Bay Street, the Negro man showed up. I didn't put the magic question to him because I know that he is interested in marrying Candia. I may end up being the best man at Candia's wedding, right? But until Candia gets married, I want Candia to stop pushing this rape on married people. Because Candia ain't married. See, if Candia was a married woman, I'd be willing to listen to her if she say that there was rape in marriage. But for Candia to be a single woman, you hear me? No one has ever taken her to the church. But there she knows married people business. All right? And she's pushing this propaganda. I want this to stop, you know. I want this to stop. All right? Candy, I want you to stop it because you're forcing me to curse you out. And I don't want to curse you out. All right? You're on the wrong track, Candia. I want you to leave sex between married people. Because young people, any sex young people have outside of marriage is illegitimate. Now let's look at some of the nonsense that Candia is running on with. All right? Candia has told us that Carl Bettel, remember I told you that Carl is believed to be a twin. Well, listen, people are coming forward. It's amazing. Things are so tough. And this $1,000 that I'm offering, people are coming forward now, and I welcome them. Bring whatever you got. Once you prove that this Attorney General is a twin, it's $1,000. For those of you who think that I am not serious, you stand right there. Now, they're saying they're going to send married man to jail for ravishing his own wife. You see, we're in trouble. Why are we in trouble? First of all, you're living with the woman. You see what the first problem is? You're sleeping with the woman. If you miss and turn over in the bed, you can touch the woman. If you touch her, DNA of you will get on her pajamas. If you touch. Right? So we can't win this one. They're out to cause more men to have prostate cancer. Because it looks like the solution to this is to keep sweetheart. And sweethearting is the sin. How you going to win this one? The woman got you. When she goes to the police, can you imagine? Y'all know Big Joe? Big Joe is like 300 pounds. He's one of the best CID they have in the country. Can you imagine when Big Joe come knocking at your bedroom door at 3 a.m. in the morning and accuse you of sexual abuse of your wife? And if the rest of the police are not looking, Big Joe will slap you. I can imagine. Pop! All y'all doing is raping your wife. Can you imagine it? Right? And then Big Joe will put you in a handcuff. I can imagine him. You're in a handcuff, and he's dragging you off the CDU. Big Joe make you sit down on the desk. And he want a confession. And then he finished putting them questions to you. Did you sleep home last night? Yes, Big Joe, I slept home. Did you sleep in the marital bedroom last night? Yes, Big Joe. And did you sleep next to the woman? You say, yeah. Did you get permission? Man, Big Joe, that's my house. That's my house. That's my bedroom. That's my bed. And the woman is mine. The woman is mine. And if the rest of the police ain't looking, but Big Joe may slap you for your own wife. You see what is happening? And if you miss and did touch her, all the evidence, then they charge you. Now, for married men, I believe they can put 2 chains around your foot. And they can put a long handcuff and pull you like a dog. Then they will come with like 30 policemen. Everybody with high power rifle. And then the newspaper, as they bring the first rapist's husband, charged with raping his wife. Then he's laid off to the court, and the magistrate don't have the power to give him bail. So you know what that means? He's going to spend some nights at Foxhill Prison. And then finally, when he is put on trial, knowing Big Joe, he's going to come with forensic evidence. If he can't get no confession from you, he's going to bring DNA. The DNA will show it was your DNA. He will look for hair samples in the mattress. Be your hair. All the evidence. These are going to be some of the easiest case for the police to prove. And then they're going to send children, they can send your daddy to jail for 25 years. Can you imagine that? 25 years. And then they'll put you on the sexual offenders register. And I can see the newspaper, the Tribune, the Guardian. Big picture. Disgraced married man rape his wife. That's what we're up against. A bunch of weak-kneed, sissy men in charge of the country. That's what it is. A bunch of weak-kneed, sissy men in charge of the country. Lanisha Roll is a woman. My God, Lanisha is more man than this man. Lanisha, tell us what this is. She said, listen, marriage is sacred. And she said, this thing y'all calling rape, this private. We got to hear from the man and the woman. And the next thing we know, Marion Bettel, or Marion says, ni Bettel. I think that's the French. Ni, the emphasis on the first E. Meaning, Marion says, born Bettel, ni Bettel. But I say she is Marion says, nay Bettel. Marion says, not Bettel. She then curses out Lanisha because she's offended that Lanisha comes from humble ground and understand the sociological makeup of the country. And Lanisha knows the virtue of marriage. And Leisha knows what it is to hold on to the man. But Candia Dame ain't married. As beautiful as she is, she ain't married. 40 now. 9th of September 1976 she was born. And September coming, Candia is going to be 42. But she, a young girl like her, got this article in the paper trying to disgrace decent married man and get in married people business. I've told you a sociological makeup of this country. I've told you something. I'm going to repeat it again. You see me here? I am the son of a married man and a single mother. You heard me? The child who is born out of wedlock, who is not properly loved, properly nurtured, he is anti-marriage and he's out to destroy it. So when I listen to Candia, I understand her psychology. See, Candia wasn't born in marriage. She doesn't know what the virtue of having married parents. And she has not been liberated. So everything she has been doing over the last 10 years as a journalist has been designed to strike down marriage. She's on the wrong track. I'll give you a story, you know. In 2001, I was in the House of Assembly sitting down in the Strangers Gallery when Hubert Alexander Ingram was Prime Minister and Janet Boswick was his Minister of Foreign Affairs. As I walked in, I sat in the area where Mr. Ingram could have literally extended his hand and touched me. And he turned to Janet Boswick and he said to Mrs. Boswick, and he said it loud enough so I could hear him. He said, "Oh, Mrs. Boswick, he did not understand me. He could not understand how I could be the son of a married man out of wedlock, yet support the married woman rights." And I wanted to stand up immediately and say to the Speaker, "Mr. Speaker, may I address?" But I didn't, because I was not a member. But what Mr. Ingram did not know, that I was a liberated bastard, a bastard accepted not only by my father, but by his wife. And therefore, I had no hang-up, and I could look at a political issue objectively, and I defended the rights of married women to their dower, to the extent that I turned Janet Boswick and Carl Bertel back in 2001 by naming them and shaming them. And in this debate, in order for this to make sense, we have to turn and say, who are you? Name them and shame them. Other than that, this debate don't make sense. Why you think I'm out to find Carl Bertel twin? I ain't going crazy. Carl knows what I'm doing, you know. He knows I'm talking to him because I know him for over 30 years. And I see the twin in him. And I have the gift to talk in parable. And Carl has the gift to unravel my talk. We're going to have to name these bastards, these children like me who were born out of wedlock. And they are a part of a mission to destroy marriage because they're still upset over the circumstances of their birth, of which they had no control. Candia Dames, relax. You and I have no control over the circumstances of our birth. We ain't got no control over that. We woke up one morning and discovered that was one red man. You had one red man, and I had one red man. And we all discover that's Daddy. I think I'm going to have to take a drink because this nonsense is on my mind. And I intend to fight them politically over it because 25 years is too long for me to go to jail for my own wife. 25 years is too long to go to jail. Look what they can do, eh? Send me to jail for 25 years for my own wife. Married the woman, mind the woman, mind the children, wash her clothes. My wife had me washing clothes for about 30 years. Cook. I cook for 30 years. Just cook. Cook. And now they say we is rapists. Yeah. I cook for 30 years. Ask the people of Black Village. Wash the woman clothes and the children clothes. Now, in my old age, they want to send us to jail for 25 years. Well, Carl Battle, 1 and 1 is 2. Carl, I am not afraid of you. I turned you and Janet back in 2001. And with the help of God, I'm coming after you, Carl. Because the woman is my woman. And I'm not surrendering the woman. And I don't care who don't like it. Who the woman belong to, it's my woman. And when we got married, she took a solemn oath. And I took a solemn oath. And my brother, I ain't listening to y'all. Because y'all is the workers of the devil. And Candia need to be washed in the River Jordan. That's what she need to be washed. All this bunch of nonsense they're running on with here, trying to send serious man them to jail. Don't want serious man to ravage serious man woman. The woman is mine. The woman is mine. Isn't that what they taught me? That's what they tell me. Because my brother, if the woman ain't mine, I gonna have to go to the grave of my ancestors and curse them out for telling me not to keep sweetheart. Because if I knew that the law would have emerged this way, I should have been sweethearting sister woman 30 years ago. I'm mincing my word because these people ain't safe. All right? And I'm going to watch out for all y'all who born out of wedlock like me. I ain't listening to y'all. Y'all better go and make up with your stepma before they dead. All right? Because y'all only jealous because y'all is a bunch of bastards. And ain't nothing to be upset about. I'm one. I am one. And I'm fighting y'all. Talking about rape in marriage and sexual and all kind of bullskate. All right? So I'm going to curse y'all out. Curse y'all out. Y'all ain't safe. Candia ain't safe. When last Candia had Holy Communion? When last she been to church? When last has Candia been to church? Huh? I was on Bay Street talking with Brother Man. When last she been to church? I want Candia them to stop it, man. Doing up all this nonsense. These bunch of people with all these issues trying to create unnecessary strife in this country. F and them wouldn't go find job. They got time talking about who raping their wife and all kind of nonsense. A bunch of sissy men talking foolishness. It's a foolish issue. And I don't care who don't like what my position is. It's a silly issue. Very silly issue. And I hope that men will rise up. Rise up against this. I just hope so. Just hope so. Oh boy, at 61, I'm now faced with 25 years in jail for a woman that I've been married to almost twice the 25 years that they proposed to send married man to jail. But I say, booyakah, booyakah, and take Candia with y'all. Yes, it's Freedom March. I'll be right back as I take a call.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
We have to speak to our children. Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. Well, if you saw the Nassau Guardian, a Negro student, a 19-year-old female child, was arrested on the 11th of November, 2017. She was charged with being in possession of drugs. And the allegations is that she hid the drugs in her private parts. Well, apparently yesterday, she went to court, she pleaded guilty, and she offered an explanation. From what I've read in the Nassau Guardian, she claims that she is a student at the University of the Bahamas and that she needed to pay her semester school fees. Didn't have the money. Someone offered her $1,000 to store the drugs on her body and to take it outside of the country. She pleaded guilty and she was, let's look at it. Let me read it to you because I want to show you how the FNM during the 2012 general election had made a solemn commitment to make the University of the Bahamas free for every citizen. You'll be able to go and the state will pay it. Now we have a 19-year-old female child, a 19-year-old young woman, a 19-year-old student who claims in the court that she became a part of the smuggling exercise to pay school fees. I accuse the FNM of causing her to have that argument because had they introduced the policy of giving students universal education free of charge, that young woman either would not have committed the crime and or if she did, she could not have used that as a defense. So let's read it. It's a very important story when we are seeing young women who have bright futures messing up their lives with drugs and drug smuggling as a new effort and a new spirit is emerging in this country to legalize drugs. Bunch of dope smokers, and having become adult people, they still want smoke. I want nobody in the parliament smoking dope. I don't want nobody in the Senate smoking dope. And if I ever discover anybody smoking dope, it will be me and them. Okay? So let me read this story so we can see. Teenage drug mule jailed for cocaine in vagina. A teenage drug mule. Look what they call her now. A mule. Do you know what is a mule? A mule is a cross breed between a horse and a donkey. That's a mule. Now there are some mules who are able to be impregnated by other mules. It's a rare occurrence, but that is a mule. So she's called a drug mule. So what does the story say? It says a teenage drug mule who tried to smuggle 9 ounces of cocaine into the United States to fund a semester at the University of the Bahamas was yesterday jailed for 9 months. This isn't a young man now. This ain't no young man. It's a female who needed to pay her semester on that alone. If Jeffrey Lloyd is a saved man, and if Dr. Minnis is safe, they would immediately order that every student attending the University of the Bahamas as of in the morning will go free. That is what has happened. So the judge sent her to jail for 9 months. Brittany Nemore, 19, of Pinewood Gardens, was to be paid $1,000 for the successful delivery of the narcotics to a man in Orlando, Florida. The court heard. Nemore was arrested at Lynden Pinling International Airport on November 11, 2017, on charges of drug possession with intent to supply and taking preparatory steps to export dangerous drugs after the contraband was discovered in a condom that she had inserted in her vagina. She pleaded guilty to the charges earlier this month before any witnesses were called to testify against her. And then defense attorney Krista Mason-Smith failed to convince Magistrate Samuel McKinney that non-custodial sentence was an appropriate sentence for a first time. Just bear with me for a second. For a first time, for a first time offender. Neighbors, teachers, and associates all asked the court to spare Nemore from a prison sentence for an offense that they claim was out of character. However, the prosecutor, Inspector Philip Davis, said the offense warranted a prison sentence. Nemore also penned a letter of apology for her actions. In the letter, Nemore said, at the time, I was desperate for the money and did not have a job. Nemore spoke of her dreams to become a lawyer and noted the ramifications of her actions on her future. She said, I won't be able to get a decent job with a criminal record. I do not want what I did to define my future or me. I want to be better than this. In passing sentence, Magistrate McKinney took into account Nemore's early plea of guilt, her cooperation with investigators, her age, and the prospect of her rehabilitation. However, McKinney noted that Nemore had broken local laws and had taken steps to break the law in the United States. He said that he would send the wrong message to would-be offenders by imposing a fine or probation. He sentenced her to 2 concurrent sentences of 9 months on both offenses. McKinney suggested that Nemore could become a motivational speaker upon her release from prison by encouraging her contemporaries not to make the same mistake she did. Well, there goes the life of a 19-year-old Negro student from the University of the Bahamas. It's a terrible situation, and as leader of the Womandem, I call on women to think about it. And should you women not write a petition to the Prime Minister asking him to forward it to the Prerogative Board of Mercy to grant the 19-year-old student a pardon? It's only an idea. Some young woman should think about it. And if you want a case that I think that an argument could be advanced to save the 19-year-old, condemned to hell. And of course, when I take into consideration that Dr. Minnis had promised these young people, promised them, vote for the F&M. We can give you universal education, free education. Now, we have a 19-year-old child testified that she needed her semester pay. And she was so desperate that she was willing to risk being arrested in the United States, being criminally prosecuted, and sent to prison. Anyway, y'all in charge of the country, and y'all are just faxing it up. I don't know. I just thought I would say it. Anyway, you know, the prostate. This is Prostate Cancer Month. And the Tribune has an article. Men, particularly Negro men, you are more prone to prostate cancer, according to this article, than other ethnic groups. And they argued that many of the contributing factors is our diet. There is too much fat, they say, in our diet. And then, of course, some people argue it is genetic. Well, the prostate expert, Dr. Robin Roberts, in the article, he listed 10 scientific reasons for men developing prostate problem. Well, let me not say it like that. Let's just read some of it. He says 10 facts on prostate by Dr. Robin Roberts, MD, consultant urologist. Now, what is the prostate? I asked the assistant in the background to give me a definition, and he's had this printed out for me to read to you. And it goes like this. The prostate is part of a man's reproductive system. The prostate gland is the size of a walnut. It is found in front of the rectum and just below the bladder, which stores urine. The prostate makes some of the milky fluid, semen, that carries sperm. So you see, the prostate is very, very important in human reproduction because from the prostate, apparently, the semen, the fluid for the sperm to swim is made. Now, let's look at some of the things that the doctors say. He says, one, prostate cancer is the most common recurring cancer in the Bahamian male. Prostate cancer is the most common occurring cancer in the Bahamian male. On average, at least 1 or 2 new cases of prostate cancer are diagnosed in the Bahamas every week. 2, prostate cancer is the most common reason for men to die from a cancer-related cause in the Bahamas. On average, 1 male dies every 2 weeks because of prostate cancer-related death, and accounts for 1 of every 3 deaths that occur in men because of a cancer in the Bahamas. 3, at the first time a prostate cancer is diagnosed in males in the Bahamas, 80% of the men are found to have a cancer that has spread already outside of the prostate. As a result, most men cannot be cured from the cancer. It's too far gone. The best we can hope to achieve is to control the disease from spreading further. But then it's only a matter of time before it takes off again, spreading everywhere, and the patient eventually dies because of the cancer. The prostate cancer appeared to be more aggressive and fatal in black men in comparison to white men of the same age. Let me repeat it, because this is supporting my anecdotal investigation. Prostate cancer appears to be more aggressive and fatal in black men in comparison to white men of the same age. In North America, black men are 2 to 4 times more likely to die of prostate cancer compared to white men at the same age. At the first time the black male is found to have prostate cancer, he tends to be younger than his white male counterpart. And the cancer in the black male is found to be 50% more advanced. The cancer disease profile in the Bahamas reflects that of American black males. Prostate cancer aggressiveness is a genetic predisposition of all men of African ancestry. The life expectancy of men in the Bahamas is increasing. We can expect, therefore, that more men will be at risk for developing prostate cancer. Although the etiology of prostate cancer is unknown, the evidence suggests that a diet high in fat is a predisposing factor to prostate cancer. We are hearty eaters of a high-fat diet in Bahamas, typically at every meal, every day. And the studies suggest that Bahamian males are uninformed and ill-informed on the seriousness of prostate cancer and the importance of prostate cancer and the importance of the annual rectal examination and blood test for the early detection of prostate cancer. It's a bunch of reasons. So you men, those of you who are perhaps 35, soon to approach 40 and older, you should go and see a doctor, because prostate cancer is extremely high in the Bahamas. And the doctor then believe that with a combination of a rectal examination and blood tests for your PSA, they will be able to determine if you have it. And so to all men, I say to you, go and have your prostate checked. Okay? Go and have your prostate checked. Now, having told you that, I told you, I have anecdotal evidence, and I don't need Dr. Roberts to tell me anything about my belief, because he ain't too much older than me. I could see him from Black Village when he used to do run, hop, and jump, whatever that was, when he was a student at Government High. He's an older man than me, so you should listen to him. But I'm going to tell you that most of the prostate cancer in this Bahamas, the 11th reason is sweethearting. All right? You have too much sweetheart. All right? If you're going to keep sweetheart, just have one. You shouldn't have any. But the more sweethearting you are doing, the more you're going to develop prostate cancer. Okay? I'm not advocating sweethearting. I know doctor. I ain't giving you no medical advice. I'm only giving you my opinion. And I'm entitled to give you my opinion. So don't mind them. And starting today, we're going to do a national experimentation. Every man that you hear as of today who has prostate problem, check how much sweetheart he got in the background. You take it from me. They ain't gonna tell you what I tell you. You check it. Starting today. Once you hear there is prostate problem, check. Let me warn y'all, Do not have too much sweetheart. All right? I'm not trying to get in your business. I'm not trying to get in your business. Okay? But take it from me. This is a secret they will not tell you. You will only hear it from me. And one day, the scientists, when they would have looked at my anecdotal evidence, they're going to come down on my side. Too much sweetheart, and your prostate ain't got time to know all them women. All right? So protect your sweetheart, protect your prostate. Don't keep no sweetheart. Be faithful in your marriage. And if you're not married, be faithful in your common law relationship. Because the more you add woman to that thing, here in the Bahamas, your prostate. You hear me? You check it. It's a big secret. I almost had heart attack. A certain man in my family, I can't call his name. My sister will get mad. They're getting my business. And when they diagnosed him, I said to my sister, listen, I think he keeps sweetheart. She almost slapped me. She said, how dare you say that? I said, listen to me. I think this is sweethearting. My brother, when we check, my sister didn't know what to do. She still is in a state of denial. I said to her, it's sweethearting. It is sweethearting. I'm going to give you one more secret. At the grave, there was a certain young person over to the eastern part of the cemetery crying. And when we went and inquired as to why she was crying, boy, it was a shock. I can leave it alone because I don't know if my sister watching it. Because my family, they just get mad with me. They say, all you do is go on TV and talk parable about this family. And I be saying, no, I ain't talking about the family. You take it from me. This prostate has to do with sweethearting. Will you cut down on your sweethearting today and help to regenerate your prostate? And I ain't trying to offend anybody, because I have a prostate as well. Okay? So I just want you all to know that sweethearting. So to the wives, speak to your husband. Tell them to cut down and to be faithful. Men, be faithful in the marriage. Men, if you have a common law relationship, will you please stay just with her? Don't mind these people. Sweethearting is a major, major contributing factor in my family to prostate problems. On my ma's side. I've never done the experimentation with my pa family, but my ma family. Boy, sweethearting. Okay? So, this is Prostate Cancer Awareness Week. Go get your prostate checked. Okay? Go ahead, get your prostate, and listen. All right? They say eating pumpkin seed is good for it. So you better eat some pumpkin seed. Some people say that, certain berries and plum is good for it. As for my prostate, there's a Haitian woman I call Mommy. I just love to talk to Mommy about my prostate because Mommy has ancient secret. And I'm mystical. And I just love. Sometimes when Mommy goes off and she chants, I say, Mommy, that's good for my prostate? She said, Daddy, this is good for your prostate. It's a very serious disease, however you perceive what I'm saying. So if you are in the age, go have your prostate examined, okay? Have your prostate examined, but don't forget what I told you. Sweethearting. You hear me? Just check it. It's sweethearting. It's sweethearting. Go check it. Do you have prostate problems in your family? Somebody is keeping lots of sweetheart, but there are many incidents when it has nothing to do with sweethearting. I know, doctor, it's only my opinion, You may accept it, you may reject it, but listen, take care of your prostate. It's Prostate Cancer Week.
Do you have something to say to the senator? Call Freedom March at 323-7775. Toll free from anywhere in the Bahamas at 242-300-0045. Freedom March with Rodney Monker, only on ILTV. Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. If you saw the paper today, the Minister of National Security, Marvin Dames, is in some dispute as to whether or not he is influencing the policy, the police fighting strategy. And I'm trying to figure out what this is all about. It is as if Marvin Dames has forgotten that the Bahamas government, under the Free National Movement, sent him and Ellison Greenslade to Canada, and they got high level police training and exposure. Marvin Dames should help the Commissioner of Police to create the crime fighting strategy. Let's don't play no games. We can't base all that tax money sending him. We lost. The country lost when we first sent him. Less than a year of him returning, he sucked his teeth, got up from his desk, and left. Go and work for Bahama. But the investment that the country made in him, we didn't get it. Marvin Dames retired as a senior deputy commissioner of police. Had he been on the force when Greenslade demitted office, Marvin is commissioner of police. So Marvin Dames is a commissioner of police who now holds a political office of Minister of National Security. And Marvin know how to fight crime. Marvin know how to investigate. I know it. All right? If I tell you that he knows how to investigate, you take my word. All right? This is as far as I'm going to say, because I have to be careful when you know things. And then Marvin see me one day and say, you see, you talk. So I ain't going to talk it. Marvin knows that I know he know how to investigate and solve crime. So I want Marvin Dames, who has had more advanced police training than the current commissioner of police, to assist in drafting the policy and the crime fighting strategy, because Marvin Dames is National Security Minister. Or should I say, he is Commissioner of Police dressed in National Security uniform. So I ain't got time. I'm going to tell Marvin this one more time. I happen to be at a high-level meeting. See, I used to be at high-level meetings at time. When Leslie Miller, I ain't calling his name no more because I don't want him to know I talk this. So I ain't going to call Leslie Miller name any further. But I happen to be at a high-level meeting when Leslie Miller produced the evidence showing that Marvin was qualified not only to be a commissioner of police, but to be Minister of National Security. I ain't going to say the rest of what Leslie Miller produced because I don't want Marvin to know that I got all of the intelligence. All right? So go and help Mr. Ferguson, the Commissioner of Police, and let's get this crime fighting strategy on the road. Because Marvin knows us. Who tell him to leave police headquarters? Papa sent him. Better be careful. Hubert Alexander Ingram sent you in Greenslade. And I have breakfast with Mr. Ingram whenever I feel like, and I could go to him and get more information. So Marvin, I want Marvin, I even want Marvin on the beat. If Mother Pratt was not a trained policeman, you know, but Mother Pratt had on her bullet vest proof. And Mother Pratt went on patrol. And I don't know if Mother Pratt knew how to shoot gun. I don't know if Mother Pratt knew how to arrest or throw down a bad boy. But Mother Pratt used to go. You see, Marvin, I got things straight. Although the PLP is criticizing you, see, if I was with you, I would say to the PLP, listen, leave Marvin alone because Mother Pratt used to be in the patrol car. I could see Mother Pratt up and down in Baintown. Only thing I see Mother Pratt with was a gun. But she sure had on the police bulletproof vest. So Marvin, go out there and help and create the policy and or the crime fighting strategy. Okay? Finish with that one. I'm going to read something to you before I look at some of the texts that I've received. And this is a statement from the leader of the opposition in this country, Philip Brave Davis. And it goes like this. Today's headline story in the Nassau Guardian shows that the finance minister and his colleagues in the FNM deliberately created higher unemployment in the Bahamas to fulfill their political agenda. At the same time, as they have agreed that what they have done since coming to office will raise unemployment, they now want to blame the PLP. This is part of the FNM's pattern of behavior. Blame everyone except themselves. Let me make it clear. The FNM is the government. The FNM must accept responsibility for the higher rate of unemployment, says Philip Brave Davis. The record is clear that in May of 2012, the PLP inherited an economy where unemployment had doubled under the FNM. The now Prime Minister, then leader of the opposition, Hubert Minnis, said the FNM had left the economy in a wheelchair. In 5 years under the PLP, unemployment was reduced to single digits with 39,505 jobs being added to the economy. The PLP left the economy on its feet. We built a firm and solid foundation on which to build. The successful completion and opening of the Bahama Resort that has created some 5,000 jobs was vigorously opposed and undermined by the FNM. The PLP's labor policy of regularizing contract workers in the public service was unceremoniously cancelled by the FNM. The Revenue Enhancement Unit within the Department of Inland Revenue in the Ministry of Finance was all but gutted and staff sent home. There is, therefore, little wonder that VAT revenue is down and the PLP publicly questions a connection between the two. At every turn, Philip Brave Davis says, it appears that the FNM is undermining the economy of this country. They tried to hurt it while they were in opposition, and they are now hurting it as the government. They are totally responsible and culpable for any spike in unemployment, and the PLP rejects the laying of any blame on this matter. Philip Brave Davis, I must tell y'all, shame on y'all. Shame on the FNM. So that's what that is. Let me see if we have any text. We look for text. Yes, let's see what we got here. Mr. Monker, the Attorney General should not be in the business of making laws, but to be in the business of enforcing the laws. That's very interesting. I'm a woman who agree with you. I'm educating my daughters on this. Good day, Mr. Monker. I'm with you 200%. Carl Bettel is a demon. We send that spirit back to hell in Jesus' name. My dear, certainly you are a saved woman. What else do we have here? Mr. Monker and Senator, this is the demand. Can we read page 13? An abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. And we, please see the King James Bible. And Senator, we demand and we can stand. The marriage out, it makes the man cry like baby. I've tried to read it, my brother. My name is James Lowe. I'm a patient at the Good Samaritan Old Folks Home. Can you visit me, please? I'm paralyzed in my hand and foot. Good Samaritan's Yellow Elder Garden. Goodness me. Okay. Well, let's see what's that. And what else do we have here? Mr. Monker, how can you say there's too much murder and Marvin Dames and the Commissioner of Police say crime is done? Listen, if I tell you there's too much murder, you take my word for it, okay? What's this? Try calling you several times, Rodney. Okay, keep calling. Who's this? Right, so I've read from there. Now, I'll go to the station phone. Goodness me, let's see. How do we open this one? All of this is message. Okay, got it. Monka, why all these businesses are closing down under the F&M? Royal Bank this week, Luke Medical last week, fast food restaurants closed down. We had Bank Bahamas layoff. It is a mess. The country has gotten worse under the F&M. Wow. Good day, Mr. Monker. Please send a shout out to Trevor Johnson, Kristen Stubbs, and Ruel Strawn. They are some of the mans them who teach the young people of this queen blessed land freedom. Listen, Trevor Johnson, Kristen Stubbs, and Ruel Strawn. I salute you as great men making a great social contribution to young people. Keep doing God's work, okay? So there's more text. Good afternoon, Mr. Monker. Please give a shout out to Miss Anna Stewart, Miss Clydesha Cox, Miss Deisha Ramming, and Miss Stacy Smith. They are some of the women them doing well in the teaching profession in the country. Listen, Miss Anna Stewart, Miss Clydesha Cox, Miss Deisha Ramming, and Miss Stacy Smith. I'm happy that y'all are fine teachers doing a wonderful job. And I thank God that educated women are supporting me and that we will organize and reject this gender nonsense that they're running on with. Mr. Monker, I don't like your tone of voice with Mr. Roll. Goodness me. Mr. Monker, Papa gonna run you in trouble for being 61. All you want to talk, goodness of mercy. Listen, take it from me. Papa's not gonna run me in any trouble, okay? So that's what we got there. Well, folks, that is all the text messages that I have for today. Look like one just came in. Yes. Okay. Goodness me, what is this? Try calling you several times, Rodney. Listen. Bear with me, folks. Mr. Monker, The Attorney General should not be in the bit. I read this one before. Please don't send it again. What else we got here? Monica, why all these businesses are closing down under the F&M? Goodness me, you send it again. I've read it before. Please don't send it again. Let's see what this is here. Monica, please talk about this job fair that is taking place at the Sports Center. This line is deplorable. I don't think in this year of 2018 that we should be standing on a line with the invention of the computer and the internet. The government of the Bahamas should have a website for everyone to sign up online. Everybody have a mobile phone that has access to the internet. Standing here, I feel victimized, degraded, and less than a Bahamian. Please, Mr. Monica, mention this on your talk show, that we, one day, soon, don't have this happening in our country anymore. Thanks in advance. Have to make a difference. Okay? This person is complaining over the fact that apparently the Minister of Labor, Dion Foulkes, I hope I have it correct, had some job fair. And the Negro man, he's upset that they have them on long lines. His argument being that this is the age of the internet. And why should the government have them out on a parade, lined up, when in fact they could have signed up online? I don't know. Perhaps I will call the minister and ask him, what is this? Perhaps I will do that. Now for what is the name of that group? Anyway, I only can remember the executive chairman name, Shannon Dawn Cartwright. Have you ever walked along Charlotte Street south until you come to the stair? I think you need to visit there. The stair, and on both sides of the stairway, it has a lot of rubbish. And since you are responsible for park and monuments, you should send somebody there to clean it up. I walked there today, and as I walk along the stairs and I look to my left and my right, I said to myself, goodness me, this is in the city. And tourists also walk along that footpath. Can you find one or two Negro workers to go there and clean it up? It looks terrible. And it's not too far from your office. Clean it up, eh? I'm just tired of this nastiness. Papa told me I must travel with my cameraman and take these photographs. So it is Charlotte Street South. Go to the very, very end, across Shirley Street. And as you're about to walk up the stairs, you will see on both sides of the stairways stuff that need to be moved. Okay? Let's keep the Capitol nice and clean. All right? That's all I'm asking for, Mr. Cartwright. So I just thought I had to say that. Well, folks, here at Island Lock Studio, when I arrived to work, there was like hundreds of people here. Vehicle, I hardly could find anywhere to park. I demand from management that I have a parking space reserved. I like on that parking space, Freedom March. So when I come, I'll have no problem in parking. Where y'all find all these people? Huh? I don't know what's going on. It's like if something big they're planning. Something big in the studio. I mean, all kind of car. All right? All kind of cars. All kind of news van. What's going on? What's about them doing downstairs? I'm going to have to go downstairs and peep. All kind of young people. Everybody seems to have book in the hand and pen. It's almost like if it can be a big, big news station. I don't know what's going on. Nobody tells me. And, I keep to myself. Just come upstairs. I come to work. But by grab, the place was rim over. Private cars and the studio cars. No parking space for me. Y'all gonna cost me to be late, man. But praise the Lord, they came outside, they rescued me, and they said I could park in the front of the door. Man, there's a bunch of people. Man, there's a bunch of people getting jobs. Goodness me. All kind of jobs. Right here at Island Luck Studios. Something big is taking place. Something big is taking place. All kind of people. But it's good. The jobs are being created so that the F&M could add it to the statistic and then argue that they create these jobs. You follow? But plenty of people, man. Goodness. And young people. I think Sebastian should hire some of Mama them. I don't know if Mama could do a little writing. But it's a bunch of young people. All kind of young people, man. Boy, oh boy. So that's what's going on here. And it's fun seeing new sets of people. Some of these people I've never seen in my life. Never seen them. But they are excited. They're happy. And I think something big is going to happen here. Who knows? We might become the CNN of the Bahamas. Can you imagine that? If we become the CNN, where news could be 24 hours. Now, I'm not saying that's what they're doing. And just in case I figure them out, and they want to know where I got that from, I want Sabats to know I was in a trance last night. And who knows, tomorrow when I come, I'm going to tell you a story about Candia. She's on my mind. She's trying to put rape in my marriage. So I found a fella that I'm going to pay him to propose to her. He's a lawyer. He's a Negro. Low haircut. Tomorrow, if you can name the Negro man in my head that I want to propose to Candia Dame, who knows? You could win a reward. This Negro man is an attorney at law. He was once a minister in the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. In fact, he boasts that he was Pinling's youngest cabinet minister. He boasts. And I'll tell you one thing, he's a gentleman and a scholar, and he knows the law. And I'm thinking of giving him, I'm going to encourage him to propose to Candia. And since I know that her most favorite fruit is the pineapple, I'm going to buy a couple of pineapples and say to him, put little red ribbon on the pineapple and send it to Candia. And I'm going to say to him, you have to marry her quickly before this law is passed. Because after the law is passed, I could see Candia just taking that poor man to the court and accusing him of all kind of things. Now, Mama, I saw your phone call. Relax, Mama. I want you to know I have your stuff in my possession. And tomorrow, the law shall prevail, Mama. Don't mind whatever you hear me talking here on Freedom March. I have it, Mama. So I want you to relax, Mama. I shall call you at some point. Oh boy, my work is not finished. But I'm going to marry off Candia because she needs to be married. Once we could marry her off, then she could discuss marital crisis with me. Because I don't like what she's doing. Just like if she don't like married people, man. Man, Candia, why you don't like us? Huh? Candia dames, why is it that you do not love married people? I love married people, you know, Candia. Yeah, I love the married people, them. So, that's what's going on. Candia got all these bad things in the paper. Talking about marital rape. A bunch of single people trying to get married people them business. You know, go get married first. Then tell me what sins your husband are committing. But I'm going to marry her off. Because at the beginning of the year, y'all know I see things. I see things. I heard things. And on Saturday, as I stood on the taxi line in front of Baker's Brothers near Frederick Street and Bay Street, lo and behold, I saw the bridegroom coming. And I'm going to convince him to propose to Candia because she's charming. She will make a beautiful bride. Candia, are you ready to go to the altar? Because I'm your best man. This is Freedom March. Candia Dames is on my mind. Candia.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.